So I found this big box of gold in a storage unit I bought, and today I'm going to be melting it down into a solid bar. First, we've got this bag of dental gold. I prefer not carry around human remains, so we'll try to break it up, separate the teeth from the gold, and then melt it down. So it looks like these 4 caps have already separated from the tooth. There might be a little bit left to clean up, maybe scrape it out, but for the most part, these are ready to go. So we'll just pulverize the teeth right here, and then pull apart the gold. All right, that looks about ready. Let's give it a little look. All right, there's one chunk, and there's the other. And just like that, the 2 remaining caps are now tooth-free. So now we'll just scrape these out the best we can with a screwdriver. Just trying to get as much of that tooth out as possible. I'm going to hammer on these 3 bigger ones a little more. Just try to get the last of that tooth out. Flatten them down. All right, they look great now. Very clean. Time to melt them. All right, the next step is to season the crucible. I got this little ceramic crucible. I'll heat it up with this MAP Pro gas, and then I'll sprinkle some of this borax in it. And that'll make this nice glaze, a glaze finish, which will help the gold not stick to the crucible. Before we melt the gold, let's go ahead and weigh it up. I'm guessing we'll lose some weight just from burning off that remaining tooth sediment and whatnot. But right now we're at 11 grams. All right, let's put the gold in the crucible and see if we can melt it. I don't know for sure if this torch is strong enough, but I guess we'll find out. That melted so fast, dude. I was not expecting that. It looks like there might be some impurities on it, so I'm going to heat it up again and then sprinkle some borax to try to clean that up a little bit. Oh, there it goes, just popped loose. Sheesh. All right, let's dump this water out and see what we got. And there it is. Came out nice, a nice little gold button. So now we'll weigh it up and see if we lost any weight. 10 grams, 11 grams. So if we did lose any, it wasn't very significant. Okay, so here's our nugget, and here's the rest of the potential gold and silver. Before I melt this down and add it, I want to get it checked just to make sure it's real, because I don't want to be adding fake gold to our bar. And some of this stuff, like this right here, probably has quite a bit of like jewelry value. It's like a seagull, I think. So stuff like that I won't melt down. But I mean, if all these chains are real, I'll probably melt down the chains and we'll add it to the bar. So I just got back from the gold store, and these are the results. He offered me $3 grand for everything. I kept the gold, obviously, because we're making a massive gold bar. But I sold the silver for 120 bucks. Whoops. All this is 14 karat. The dental gold came in at 14 karat also. This stuff I'll keep and try to sell separate as jewelry, like on eBay or something. There's like pendants and charms. And then all of this stuff, all these loose chains, I'll go ahead and melt it down and add it to the nugget. This is 10 karat, so I'll keep it separate just because I don't want to ruin the purity of my nugget. I want to keep that as close to 14 karat as possible. But yeah, let's get this weighed up and then melt it down and make our nugget a little bit bigger. So the new stuff weighs, let's see here, 25 grams. And with the addition of the existing nugget, we're right at 36 grams. So once this is all melted down, we'll have a nugget about 36 grams, and it should be pretty close to 14 karat gold. The crucible is heated up. Now it's time to add our gold. So I don't know if you can see that, but there were a couple little wires that weren't melting. So I'm guessing those were part of the clasp. So what I did was I just dragged the gold around, and then the wires stuck to the crucible. So I'll go ahead and transfer the gold to a new crucible, and that way we can remelt it, hopefully with less of that wire stuff. That should pop loose once it gets cool enough. And there we go. Dump it out and take a look at our work. So there was kind of a dull colored film on the outside of the gold. So I'm giving a little bit of a wet sand with a high grit paper, trying to clean it up a little bit. I don't know if that means one of the bracelets wasn't real, or maybe that's just some impurities, or maybe the borax. I don't know. But I'm just giving it a little bit of a cleanup. Hopefully not removing too much weight. But it's looking a lot better already. So now that it's sanded, it has a nice shine to it. It matches my 14 karat ring pretty closely. In that low spot, you can still kind of see that dull brown color. So if you know what that is, let me know. So now that we got this all cleaned up, let's go ahead and weigh it. And we've got 35 grams. So it looks like between melting and sanding, we lost about a gram. But it looks really nice. The idea is just to keep building onto this. So every time I find gold in a storage unit or metal detecting, I'll melt it down. And this nugget will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once we have like a huge bar, we can go ahead and refine it to get 24 karat gold. But yeah, stay tuned and watch this baby grow.